What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Today, as you guys can see, we're on the kayak because the boat is still in the shop somehow. It has been a little bit longer than they expected, but that's okay because I have not been on the kayak in a hot second. Well, at least I haven't filmed a video on the kayak in a hot second. So today we are out on the kayak in this beautiful day. Maybe not beautiful to most people, but for fishermen, it is perfect. It is like low 70s, cloudy, a little bit of a breeze, so it should be pretty good fishing. We got a jackhammer tied up on this rod, and then right there, we got a Texas rig creature bait because again, still most of my baits are back in the boat, which is in the shop. So we have to make work with what's due, or do with what's whatever. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and just basically just kayak around the spots that we normally would fish and try and hook up into something. You know, I'm not really putting any size goal or anything on that. A big bass would obviously be nice, but I'm not going to try and force anything. I'm just lucky to be out here on such a beautiful day. But we're going to go ahead, get to our first spot and start fishing. That's a fish. There we go. First one. Come here, little guy. Little guy. Oh my goodness. Woo. Get him up here. On the bandito bug. Little Texas rig action. Pop him off and send him on back. There we go. That's not a bad way to start. Well, it's not the biggest, but at least we're finding them. I've only been out here for, I don't know, maybe 10-ish minutes, so go ahead, try and get this rigged up again and keep on casting. Uh-oh. There we go. Got him. Feels tiny. Oh! Excuse me. Come here, rat. Getting me soaked. All right, here's this little rat. Num 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 num. See ya. Well, unfortunately, that was my last bandito bug, so we have to dig in the box now. Let's see. We'll throw on. That looks kind of small. Throw on one of these. Some of these net baits and see how good they are. I've never actually thrown one of these things, so we'll give them a shot, and if they suck, we'll throw on the gamblers and see what we can do. But fish number 2 in the boat. Here, we got to break apart this crawtail. There we go. Fish number 2 in the boat, or in the yak I should say, not the boat. But it's been a slow day. That first fish was about 25 minutes ago, so we kind of made our way out into the open lake, as you guys can see. And right now we're kind of just working along some boats, some docks, and this little weed line. And that fish came on the deeper side of a weed line and he hammered it. But here's this little bait. We're gonna go ahead and give it a try. Is this a fish? Yes, sir. On the jackhammer. What do we got? Little bass. Yes, sir. Good old jackhammer. Paid a lot of money for these things, so I'm glad to see it is working. Actually, I know they work, but look at that. Jackhammer bass. Black and blue jackhammer on a little bass. Right species, wrong size. Right now we are just, so to my right over this way is obviously a huge little flats area. It's like 2 to 3 foot deep and there's a ton of weeds. and directly straight is I'm on the drop off right now. So I'm casting on to the left side of the drop off with the weeds and really just kind of trying to slowly churn this thing right across the weed line and maybe even over top. And that little guy came right off it. Straight ahead is kind of the same exact thing. Once we get up to that boat, we're gonna make a left and continue following up along the docks. I'll probably pick back up the craw once we get up there. But for now, we're gonna keep on throwing this and hopefully get ourselves a little bit of a bigger bass. We have 3 fish in the kayak so far and all of them have been relatively small. So still looking for that decent sized one. Oh gosh, got him. No, had to watch out for that coming back at my face. Oh no, there would have been fish 4. I mean, we can see if he'll eat again, but I didn't really get a good hook set. He kind of just lightly tapped it and it felt like a weed. So I just left up my hook like that and it was a fish, but dang it. All right, 4 hooked, 3 caught. Been out here for probably like an 45-ish minutes maybe. I don't know, it's hard to keep track since I'm not looking at my phone, but so far the bite's been a little bit slower than I would have thought, especially for, there's one. As I say that, we get smashed. As I say that, we get smashed. Come here, little rat. There we go. About the same size as the rest, but there we go. Maybe it's the same fish, I don't really know. I was gonna say, I was surprised to see how slow the bite is for A, an overcast day, and B, it's about 15 to 16 degrees cooler than it has been the past couple days. You know, even 20 at some point. You know, it's only 71 degrees right now, and it's been in the 90s. So, you know, I would have thought this big temperature drop would have had these fish fired up a little bit more, especially these bigger ones. Like I said earlier, the water temps are still pretty freaking high, so maybe these bigger ones are still down deep a little bit, and we just got to find them. But you know, with the clouds being overcast, a little bit of wind, you know, I figured the chatterbait's probably a perfect bait for today. And you know, I bought them, so I wanted to try them out and see what the hype's all about. And so far, I can say it's pretty worth it. You know, you can definitely feel the extra vibration in the rod tip. Then also, this rod is also a medium light, so it could just be the rod that I'm using. But we're gonna go ahead and make 1 or 2 more casts right here off this little point. And then I gotta decide where we're gonna go to next. All I know is that it's going to be a far paddle. All right, at the Trusty Island. There's a ton windier over here on this side of the lake, but we're gonna go ahead and fish probably arguably the best spot on the lake. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get a giant out of here. Now, kayak fishing in the wind is always a huge pain in the butt, especially when the wind is blowing straight into the fishing spot. But you know, if we could pull 1 or 2 nice ones off here, I would say it would be a success. I'm not sure how much longer that I'm going to be out, because in about 30-40 minutes it does look like it's going to rain, and that's the last thing I want to do is get stuck on the kayak in the middle of a storm. So we're going to go ahead, start casting, and hopefully hook into something, but preferably a bass, not a pike. I don't feel like losing these $20 jackhammers to something like that, especially when they've already stolen so much from me this year. Here we go. There we go. Feels like it's something a little bit better. I'm guessing it's probably a pike by the way it's fighting. Yo, yeah, it is. A little guy too. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. That thing literally jumped into the freaking boat. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I hope the freaking camera got that on. I hope I got that on camera. Oh my gosh. It literally jumped into my boat, hit my leg, and popped off. Oh my gosh. It was a little runt too, but that's the craziest thing that's ever happened. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see if we can get another one, but actually land it. And I also just realized I don't have any pliers, so I'm hoping that if we do catch one, it is a bass or something relatively small like that. Because if not, I will be down a set of bullet weights and hook, because I am not putting my hand in that thing's mouth. Oh, here we go. There we go. Here's something. What do we got here? What do we got here? A little pike. A little runt pike. Thought it was gonna be a bass. Hey, watch out. Look at this little guy. All right, we'll go ahead, give him a nice release. Oh, come on, swim off. There he goes. All right, phew. Thought we lost one for a second. But yep, I had to make a pit stop right here in the shallows because my back was absolutely cooked. And that little guy went ahead, decided to bite right on that drop off. I think we're actually gonna stand here a little bit longer, give my back a little bit more of a break, because you guys can see or hear probably the wind is whipping. We have a very long paddle home, so we're gonna go ahead, try and knock off a couple more fish standing here, then get back on the yak, probably make a couple more casts with the chatterbait, and then we'll call it a day and head on home. But fairly simple. This little creature bait craw thingy-majiggy right here from Gambler is getting it done.